We're back.
We're back. Yeah.
I never left, baby.
Month 3, episode 3, the end of 2023. That means something right there.
3 goggles, baby.
That means, oh yeah.
March Madness coming up.
My basketball players, after they make a shot, they all love to hit that gritty. And I don't really know exactly how it works, but I know it involves something like this.
May have to
Your
ask your
9-year-old
son.
basketball players?
Oh, yeah. Yes, it is episode 3 of the 3rd month that we've now done, the State of the Union podcast. We're going to hit up our 30 seconds to Nantan. We're going to get into an interview with our hymn of the month, Mr. Turtle Dove himself. And we're going to try to see if we can get Turtle Dove in the middle of some crossfire as well. We're going to see if we can get him to pick a winner of Jenna or myself as we debate a hot topic. And then we'll find time for a good draft also, and then some announcements and news of the union. Things may or may not go in that exact order, but we should hit all of those at some point during the course of this episode. All right. VP, you want to start us off with 30 seconds, man?
Sure thing. It's 29 seconds with the Nantan.
Might be.
It was 9 seconds when I first thought of it, and then I realized you can't really say anything in 9 seconds. Then it went to 19, still very difficult. So the 29 is where I landed.
Right.
I completely missed it last month. I actually practiced this month. I might come up like a second or two short. So let's see.
Jenny, do you have the ability to overlay a timer on him when you in post?
I can definitely do that.
All right, so I won't have to hold my phone up the whole time then backwards.
I mean, I feel like that's an institution at this point, but I guess we can upgrade it. All right.
All right, I'll hold it up. We'll go old school.
Okay, we'll do both.
All right, VP, I'm on you.
All right, so I'll tell you when to start it. Not starting it yet. So this month we will focus a little bit on emotional strength. We get up in the gloom every morning to work on our physical strength, but really the emotional strength comes before that. So getting that right will then lead to the physical strength. So give me a countdown in 3, 2, 1. Emotion is a mental muscle that must be trained and exercised in order to operate at optimum levels. Emotional strength is pretty straightforward. It's mental toughness. It's the willingness, the ability, the capability to do what needs to be done, even though you may not feel like it. You build emotional strength by doing hard things. If you avoid hard things, it makes you weaker. Become emotionally strong for yourself and your family. Time.
Man.
Wow. Whoa.
Pretty good.
Woo.
What was it? I didn't see it.
You had 2 seconds to spare, man.
So, man.
I told you I come up about a second or two shy.
Impressive. Some definite movement since week 1.
Week 1 wasn't bad. I was like 2 or 3 seconds over week 1 or month 1, but
I think you're like 25 seconds over.
that was last month.
Okay.
Go back, watch the tape. Red flag.
Yeah, run it back.
I'm actually, speaking of watching the tape, Jenna, if you get any views that you see come across from Malaysia, Indonesia, Pakistan, the UK, I use VPNs and just send them all over the place. That way it looks like we're getting our viewership up.
Got to get those viewers bumping. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so...
No, we can buy viewers, too, if we get really desperate. So, yeah, F3 slush fund, I'm just saying. We can misappropriate it.
All that money we have.
Yeah. Might be able to buy 10 or so viewers. I don't know. Up next, one man on one side of things and another man on the opposite side of things, firing insults at each other. This is Crossfire. This month's topic, artificial versus real trees, with our mediator, Mr. Turtle Dove. And as I understand it, also a supporter of the real tree fanatics.
We'll find out.
So, I have grown up with I've grown up with fake trees, artificial trees, as it were. So I will be taking that stance. Mr. Shrink will be taking the stance of the so-called real Christmas trees. Okay, bit of a misnomer. Um, and then I believe Turtle Dove said he grew up with real trees as well. So here we are. But never tell me the odds. Let's. I think we kick it off with you, Shrink. State your argument, your thesis, hypothesis,
Yeah,
so I can dismantle it.
this is going to be simple. The reality is that real trees are the only Christmas tree to have because the word real is in the name. Christmas, my friends, Christmas is about that which is real, that which is genuine, that which is authentic. It doesn't get any more real, genuine, and authentic than a Christmas tree that smells of fresh pine that you must water each day in the same way that you must water your faith, your fitness, and even your fellowship. That is why a genuine, real Christmas tree made in God's good green earth is the way to go.
I'm gonna barf. Turtle Dove, what's your statement? How do you feel about all this?
I'm a little undecided on this one. I'm going to have to hear what you guys have to say. I
Okay.
have, in my older age, been convinced to go with a fake tree side. So I, for my family's sake, have a fake tree. But my heart is still on the real tree. So uh, I'm going to have to hear what you guys have to say because I don't know if I have a dog in this fight yet.
Well,
Inspire me.
I have a couple points in the corner of fake tree. Number one, no fake tree to my knowledge has combusted horribly and burned down an entire house over the course of 30 seconds. Again, that's to my knowledge. But have you ever seen those videos of the real trees going up in like a fake living room? It's horrifying. I implore you to watch that video if you never have. For all that is holy, if you have a real tree, just water it. Make sure it's watered. Regardless of the argument, I don't want your house to burn down. Secondly, the authenticness of Christmas. Plastic toys, plastic trees. All I'm saying. It's right in there. Fits the theming. And as for the authentic of God's green earth, just keep them outside. Let the living trees live. Let them grow, flourish, and be bountiful in their environment. We don't need to, as man, chop these things down and put them in a cage. Look at these beautiful trees behind me. Let them be. We can have the spirit of Christmas while also honoring the trees around us and the land that the Lord so graciously bestowed upon us, I'll say. And thirdly, have you seen some of these crazy fake trees nowadays? They have built-in lighting that you can change with your like smartphone. That's absolutely incredible. I don't have one of those because I don't spend $5 million on a fake tree, but they look pretty cool. So,
You sure can.
The defense rests.
You sure can do that. You sure can change those lights. You know what those lights are, Janae? A fire hazard. And
LED baby, LED.
a young woman by the name of Destiny Abduzarek in California, age of 22, actually died in a home fire caused by an artificial Christmas tree.
Can't believe you looked this up on the fly.
So Ms. Destiny Abdurazak and her family would disagree with your assertion that they're safer. First of all, second of all, what we know about tradition is that tradition always encompasses all five senses. Tell me a scent more associated with Christmas than freshly cut pine as you walk down and you see gifts surrounding a Christmas tree Christmas morning. You simply cannot beat that. And that's a memory we have the ability to instill in the minds of our children each year when we make the correct choice to go with a genuine Christmas tree.
Okay, but here's the thing about that. Is it's only a memory surrounding Christmas because it's one associated with a memory that you've already formed. I'm saying going forward, it doesn't necessarily need to be associated with Christmas. For instance, I grew up without a real tree, so it means nothing to me if I smell pine around Christmas time, other than maybe I'm outside. That's about it.
All that I hear when
The
you say
social
you grew up with
construct.
is that you had a difficult childhood. That's all that I hear there.
It's a little rough.
Is that you had some parents who weren't willing to make sacrifices for their son to be able to have the real thing.
Hey, don't you bring my parents into this argument.
All right, TD. I think you've heard our best.
Yeah, what's your stance, brother?
Who wins?
Shrink pulled in tradition at the end there, Jenny. That might sway me. I mean, our tradition growing up was Black Friday every year. Go cut a tree down, set it up.
Mm-hmm.
Got the pine smell. Yeah.
I mean, he
Definitely.
didn't even. To be fair, he didn't even touch on the tradition of physically going to get the real tree each
Right.
year, which
I didn't even have
Yep.
to. I left that in the
didn't have to pull that out.
But I don't know. I mean, bring a little bit of my own experience in on the other side too. First year we were married, we got a fake tree. Our first year in the house that my wife and I bought, we got a real tree. And about a week in, the whole floor was covered in dead bugs. It was disgusting. So, there's that memory too. So, and Jenny didn't bring that up either, but it is something that's in my head.
Didn't have
But
to.
anyway, all that to say is I'm real tree all the way. My heritage is lumberjacks in Maine. I don't think there was anything that's going to sway me on that one, except for my wife, because we do have a fake tree. So
the ultimate trump card, the wife.
Right. Yes, I know. But in my heart, I'm still a real tree guy.
There's a reason that it is the most important relationship, and that
That's right.
it confounds logic at times.
Absolutely. Well argued, though. Well argued, Shrink.
For those keeping score, then I think we're at 1-1 because we actually didn't have a deep dish vote for us last month. Pick a side. However, based on the response of the packs, it seems that y'all are cool spitting wherever y'all want to spit. I'm the crazy one saying there should be designated spit spots.
Frankly,
just to be clear, I'm okay spitting anywhere. If you can't handle a little spit, you should be in the gloom.
Part of the gloom, son.
That's right.
Frankly, I'm super surprised I won that one.
You're in 1-1. All square, all time in the crossfire.
Yeah, put it up on the board, son.
All right. Well, let's shift then, man. Let's talk to our hymn of the month a little bit, and then we'll wrap up with our draft. Our draft is going to be Christmas movies. Drafting Christmas movies. That would give both of you a few minutes here to think while we interview. So again, we've got Turtle Dove, hymn of the month, aka Seth Ritchie, aka TD, aka Tuddy. Those are all names that I myself may have given him. Other than Seth, that one's character.
Yeah, can't claim that one.
Let's start there though, man. Tell us how you got the name Turtle Dove. Tell us about who EH'd you, your first beatdown, and where your name came from.
Gotcha. So EHing, that's a complicated path. About a year before I started coming, Bombay introduced me to the idea, coming out to F3. That was back when the factory was the only location.
Okay.
And as I understand it, and at the time, I was on some diet that was like a no exercise, low calorie diet, which worked for me pretty well, but it's not good for the body long term. Anyway, so after that, Knievel started going, and I worked in the same office as Knievel, so he started talking to me about it. And then then my wife was looking for childcare, ended up talking to Jessica Couchman, who does childcare for our kids, and that's when I got started talking to VP, And he shot me a text, and that was the final straw. Showed up at the red zone.
Wow.
Wore you down.
A three-man EH.
3-man EH. Took 3 of them to take me down. But as far as the name, I used to live in Scroon Lake, New York, which is where one of the locations for Word of Life Bible Institute. And that Bible Institute would do 2 major theater shows every year, an Easter show and a Christmas show. These were traveling shows that a bunch of college students would be in the show. They jump on a coach bus and they travel up and down the East Coast to it in my churches and stuff like that. Well, these shows all needed little kids in them for, things here and there. And I went to 2 Christmas shows and 1 Easter show. I'm one of 4 kids, and all of us were in the shows at some point. And I was responsible for holding the 2 turtle doves in the scene that was the 12 Days of Christmas. And that one night I bowed to the little girl that I was supposed to bow to and fell flat in my face. So I was 7, so I don't think I was all that embarrassed. And looking back on it, I probably should have been more embarrassed by the red velvet knickers I had to wear every night while holding those turtle doves. But
nice.
Yeah, so that's where that came from.
Wow. Well, with passing out, wearing some red knickers, being part of a play, the fact that the only name you got out of that was turtle dove.
Oh yeah, you lucked out.
Right?
Like velvet, a lot of good stuff in there.
Yeah. I tried to find a picture of me in those velvet knickers to put on Slack, but
oh man, that'd be a good one.
There's a woman who's part of Thea whose nickname is Pitch with a P, and I hear that it's often if they're out somewhere and someone just yells, "Hey, Pitch!" It can sound like the other word.
Oh yeah.
I'm thinking you could have been named Knicker. And that also would have become
would have been an issue. I think that's a name we probably would have had to change.
Yeah.
Turtle dove is solid, and I've shared with you too. All the people that have got these like compound word nicknames, like Ricky Bobby and Turtle Dove, and it's too many words for me, and so I much prefer the shortened Tutty. That's where I'm going. I'm going Tutty all day.
I mean, you have the luxury of having a single syllable nickname.
Yeah.
Right,
it's money.
Yeah. It's nice.
It is.
All right. So your first workout, can you remember anything about it?
Yeah. It was a 30 for 30 with Ricky Bobby at the red zone.
Nice.
We did an Indian run, strings on a pearl with slow workouts, so like slow push-ups and slow squats, slow markets, slow squats. Yeah. And the Indian run just killed me. Like and it was a short one too. It was 30 for 30, so we only did 30 minutes of workout. Halfway through play date, had to walk back with me because I couldn't keep up with anything. But yep, definitely. And then the discussion was about, I think, religion, maybe something like that. The 30-minute discussion afterwards.
Yeah. There is surprisingly not much worse than when Ricky Bobby, when he leads a workout. There are times that he'll do these like form perfect workouts, and you realize real fast that it hurts more when you use correct form.
Yeah.
Well, it's a little different.
Yeah, it turns out when you actually use correct form for a merkin or a squat or a burpee or a curl, it takes a little longer, hurts a little more.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna name any names or anything, right?
Keep that head up. Just keep that head up.
But if one of you name some names,
No, I feel it for sure, man. Ricky Bobby gets us on a slow workout, he's still counting and you're still going down. All those chest muscles start engaging. Yeah, it hurts, man.
They do. All right. Well, tell us a bit then, Tutty, about the progression then from beginning and being at a point where you were falling off the pace doing an Indian run, and then to the past month or so where you've committed to showing up every Friday at the floor and doing a running workout, a thing that it sounds like when you first showed up was nearly impossible to do for even 25 to 30 minutes. Now you're coming through
Mhm.
entire beat downs just running. Just walk us through that progression and how you've been moving through that.
Yeah, man. I mean, it seemed rather clear to me. I suck at running. I need to do it. That's that's just kind of what it was, and it was surprising to me how much it changed quickly. I was talking to Ricky Bobby actually in one of the earlier runs. He was helping me with some breathing and help with the focus on the breathing. Let your legs and your body do the rest. And hey, he was asking me, okay, are your legs feeling it? Are your lungs feeling it? And for me, it's all cardiovascular. I don't know. I've never really had too much trouble with legs. In fact, we used to years ago. I used to do mountain bike racing with my dad, so legs and cardio used to be there at some point, and cardio definitely fell away. So I knew it would come back. I just needed to work on it, and that's what the floor offered. I mean, those guys, they run every time, and that's what I needed. So you sign up, you go run, and some of the packs decide to slow down and run with you and push you along. So they might be going slower than they've done in a while, but I'm going a lot faster than I've done in a long time. And the first few runs, I'm like, my heart rate's way high, can't hardly breathe, can't talk. And then last run we did, I actually just this morning was running and feeling pretty good, and my heart rate was, it was still zone 4. It'd be nice to like settle in like a zone 3 or something, but who knows how accurate all that stuff is. But at least I could like hold a conversation and could run a little bit because I did some of the hard work. It still doesn't feel good, but it's a whole lot better. And my kids notice it, and my wife notices. Just being around home, having some cardiovascular support that I hadn't had before. And that's not something I would do on my own, especially the push in the workout itself. Like if I had decided on my own, hey, I'm going to go run every Saturday morning or something, I'd be doing like a mile, maybe a mile and a half if I felt really great. But you go the first time to the floor and it's 3.5 miles, and at the end of it, I feel terrible. But then do it again the next time, and then it feels a little better and feels a little better. I never would have had the progression I had without the push from other packs. It's just that's the power of F3, I think.
Yeah, very much so. And one thing we say often is, if you want to go faster, chase faster men.
Yeah, absolutely. And I gotta say, I gotta call out Redbag too, because I would never done it without him. I shot him a text before November, and I was like, hey, we both suck at running. You want to try to do this with me? Because I'm not gonna do it unless someone else is expecting me to be there. And he jumped right on it, and that was a big deal because there were several mornings, several Fridays. I'm like, you know what? I feel terrible. I don't really want to do this, but Red Bag doesn't feel good either. But we're both going to go do it, and it makes a huge difference.
Yeah. Well, I love that idea of connecting with someone around something you both suck at.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Hey, I think we suck together.
Right.
Let's try to get better together.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that. Big J, what question you got, man?
Man, I don't even know. I'm just I wanted to add with the running initiative that y'all have impacted my life greatly as well. Um, just in that I had gone, to the floor every now and again. Um, but the hard commit initiative that you all had made was a game changer because I just jumped on it. And I was like, you know what? I've been slacking, so let's go with it. And it's so funny because I'm pretty sure if I don't show up to one, y'all might say something maybe, but overall it's just like an implied accountability that is powerful in and of itself. So I guess my question for you is, what's next on the docket? What are we doing next, boss?
Good question. I was actually thinking about that today. I was thinking about what next for me. I have a desk job, and I suspect a lot of people have a desk job. And as a result, I have upper back and shoulder problems that require some pulling type workouts to keep those muscles in the back strengthened to combat what's going on up front. So I've been thinking a little bit about trying to, I don't know, lead some pre-work that focuses on those sort of movements, doing some sort of commitment for pre-work or stretching pre-work maybe. So I'm not sure exactly what it's going to look like, but I'm thinking about something like that.
Well, I'll add this. I think probably a universally weak strength within the union is, speaking of pull exercises, just the pull up. And to nobody's fault, really, it's difficult to find a good environment to spend time and do that. But I will say, even doing something as minor as being intentional about doing some dead hangs, and then doing a couple sets of pull-ups on a regular basis is a game changer. So I don't know what AOs we could incorporate that in to where it'd be friendly, other than, you know, like places that have playgrounds or whatever.
Right,
But,
right.
It could be
build
promising.
An A-frame or something. Yep. We'll figure out something. It
Maybe
might be
a mobile
like
pull-up station.
Yep. And the red zone's got some bleachers, so you could do some isolated bent over rows with arm to arm or something like that, or you could do some more butterflies or something. But I think there's an opportunity there. Haven't figured it out yet. So
Yeah.
But yeah, you got an idea, Jenny. I'll take it and we'll jump on it.
All right, we'll brainstorm.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that stands out to me hearing this, though, is something that I'm sure I've said before, and maybe even said before here, but what you're talking about, Turtle Dove and Jenny, and the experience there, it's the exact same experience that you get at GTE, in that there's this thing that you see other people commit to doing, and you're like, oh, we're going to do this thing? Like, we're going to pick up this 1,000,000-pound log. Oh, you're all picking it up. We're going up. It's going up, and it's up. Right? And it's like, oh, TD and Red Bag are like, they're going to run every Friday. We're every Friday. We're doing it every Friday. I guess we're doing it. And then we're running. Right? And it's just like you see someone, you hear someone doing a hard thing, and you're just kind of like, oh, I guess that's what we're doing now. And there's something though that's just inherently contagious, I think, in men, that when we see someone doing a hard thing, we're like, oh shit, like we're doing the hard thing then. Let's do it.
Right.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Right. But it takes someone to use that initiative and that energy, right? The I2, the individual initiative, to begin that process. So well done there, man. Well done.
Yeah. Thank you. I think there's a lot of, I think the individual initiative that gets sparked in other people is interesting to me. Like Jenny, you were saying, like, if you didn't show up on a Friday, we're not going to dog you about it, because you're the one that made the commitment for yourself.
Right.
And you're the one that's probably going to dog yourself the most, you know? So it's really interesting to me to see other men feed off each other, but not to the point where we got to beat each other up. We've got the own flame. We're lighting the flames within each other's hearts, so that gets us out there for our own benefit, for our own reasons. There definitely is some, like, he expects me to be there, so I'm going to be there. But it's there's a lot of internal. You got to want to do it anyway.
Yeah.
At some level, and I like seeing that in men, where they, you know, there's a whether it's latent or not, there's something in there that they want to do something. They just need a little kick, a little movement, and then that flame kicks off, and they're out there doing it. So, yeah, we'll see.
I think part of it too is, if it's a difficult task, especially if it's one where it's questionably attainable, once you see other men going to get that goal, you're like, okay, well, it seems that it actually is something that can be done. Yeah. So then that breaks that threshold and barrier of entry to where you start putting that effort in to work towards that goal. So, like, just goes to show, pushing yourself pushes everyone around you, no matter how, you know, individual it may feel at any given moment. There's always the guy next to you.
Yeah, which is fun. It's just fun to be part of a community that's doing that for each other.
For sure. So, Turtle Dove, if you could, let's just shift gears a little bit.
Mm.
And yeah, I've explained this before and kind of suggested that a way to think about this is like an extended circle of trust, right? One with just
Mm.
just me, Jenna, you, and then the 12 other people who will hopefully listen to this podcast. Um, we as people, we love to talk about the areas where we're doing well, areas that we've mastered something. I think it's important, though, also that we as men are identifying areas of potential growth, areas of weakness, and that we're kind of sharing that burden with others. So, if you could, man, tell us a bit about like what's an area of life where you are trying to develop, trying to
Mm.
gain some traction, and been struggling. Maybe you found some progress somewhere, but like, where are you working right
Mm. Oh man, everywhere. um, I was a bachelor until I was, well, what was it, 31?
now?
That's a long time to kind of
Yeah.
develop selfishness. We'll put it that way. I had a lot of opportunities to be part of my church, was serving in church, thought I was, doing great, but it just naturally, you're living on your own, making your own money, living in your own house. Selfishness just becomes second nature.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it's necessarily a bad thing. Some of it's not necessarily bad. I mean, I am living on my own, making my own food. I'm thinking about what I need to do for myself, and that's fine. But then getting married and having kids changes that completely. So almost every area of my life needs to switch from seeking. Oh, I don't know it. There's a lot of my bachelor life where my main focus was comfort,
Mm.
and that doesn't work out in marriage and fatherhood. So almost everything that I'm working on now has something to do with pulling myself away from the I don't know, the natural falling into comfort or desire for comfort,
Yeah.
and stepping up to doing what needs to be done, however hard or mundane or boring I find it, whether that's doing the laundry or washing the dishes every night. That was
Mm.
not something I did as a bachelor.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Dishwashing was maybe once a week thing for me,
Yeah.
but now cleaning the kitchen every night and having it clean, yeah, it makes a difference. So it seems like a little thing, but it's like that's just an example of
Yeah.
the heart change that's going on. Like
Mm.
I've got to change my perspective. I've got to change my look at life, and so it's really really broad. If we want to bring it into something that's right now I'm trying to think about and work on a little more, is the spiritual direction of my family.
Mm. Yeah.
I need to be doing more there. um, I'm weak in that regard. In It feels like in that one in particular, I sell myself short a lot because I feel like all the logistical things that get done every day just don't leave me time, right?
Sure.
And that's not true. There's ways to get past all those logistics, to make the plans, be ready ahead of time, to lead my family spiritually. And there are lots of instances where there's just things happen throughout life, and you can teach your kids something about how to respond to someone who's not speaking properly to you, or how to respond to each other as the kids are responding to each other. And there's definitely some spiritual direction happening there, but mostly what I'm talking about is the intentionality of
Yeah.
spiritual growth within my wife and kids.
Yeah.
And honestly, for me right now, that's the part of the reason it's not happening for my family is I'm not so good at it at the moment either.
Mm.
It's been very easy for me to let the responsibilities of fatherhood in particular take over the responsibility I have to be building my relationship with Christ. We talked about this morning in the Bible Ruck over at Naven. It was in Matthew 6, and we're talking about giving in secret and praying in secret instead of in front of people.
Yeah.
It's that passage is in. And it really comes down to a relationship with God. Do I trust God enough that when I give, it doesn't have to be for anybody else? It's because I want to be generous because He's generous.
Mm.
Or do I trust God or desire God enough that I want to go pray by myself because that's important to me to have a relationship with Him. So that idea, I think, is what is in my mind, and I need to connect some practicalities to it to take hold and to move forward with. So yeah, that's the weak spot in my life that I'm trying to work on right now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow, wow. That's some important, right, important, weighty areas, from learning what it means to be a sacrificial husband, right, who has the ability to suppress their own selfishness for what's better for the family, and then carrying that forward to be a servant leader, right, within your own household.
Mm-hmm.
What's it look like to both lay down my will and my want, my selfish will and selfish want, for that which I know is better for my family, and how do I shepherd them well?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I learned, just to throw this out there, I I think I overcorrected a little bit at some point, like completely lost focus on what I needed to be doing to prepare myself to be what I need to be for my family.
Yeah.
Like zero time for myself, zero, just throwing myself completely into my wife and kids, and that doesn't work. It backfires. Anybody who's tried it, you know that. So it's something my wife and I work through, and I'm still trying to understand it. But one thing I realized, I need time to tinker in the garage, fix some broken machine. That's like my emotional processing thing, and I need something like that, and I need to be focusing on myself spiritually and grow that, and sharpen the axe idea. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. One that a few guys have tossed around is the idea that there can be a ditch on either side of the road.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
for some guys, doing the hard thing would be getting up and doing the pre-work, right? And like that might be for me. I'm not a pre-work guy. Like I'm usually up till 12 or so, and I tell myself that's why I can't do pre-work. I could probably go to bed earlier and then do it. So for me, right, the hard thing might be doing some pre-work. And there are guys like Little John who's been open about how there are times that he's gone too far, and for him, the hard work now is letting himself rest and making himself rest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And then
absolutely.
the same thing applies in relationship, that there are times where the hard thing is saying no to ourselves, right? And then there are times where the hard thing is actually voicing our need, and letting our
Mm-hmm.
spouse know what we need in that time and space.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm terrible at knowing what I need and telling my spouse what I need. Those two things I'm not good at.
Yep. Got to know what you need, and you got to be able to communicate that need.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So that's good. That's good. So when you think about F3 Turtle Dove, what are some suggestions, some ideas for ways that you found yourself to be able to be committed, to be consistent? What works for you? What would you say to somebody who kind of comes every now and again and would like to show up more often but just can't quite get there?
Mm-hmm. Well, one of the things that helped me was having a baby. That baby is up any hour of the night.
Okay.
Often up at 3 a.m. So if I'm up anyway, might as well go work out, right? So that's been a couple of days for me. But that, joking aside, actually, what's been best for me is I am not a creature of habit. In fact, it's very difficult for me to build good habits. But setting my stuff out the night before makes a huge difference. It's surprising to me how much difference it makes. Like, I didn't think so, and I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna try it. Get my clothes out, and it does. It makes a big difference. I can get up and get to a workout a lot easier simply because I don't have to look for socks.
Yeah.
So there's something easy. I have all the stuff I need for any workout in the back of my truck. I'm not well organized, so I kind of need to be prepared for anything, anytime. and that helps too. I can just go to whatever workout. I don't have to worry too much about whether I need my headlamp or my gloves or our coupon or whatever, it's going to be there. So preparation has been the biggest thing for me to be able to get out there. But I think what has been the best, so those are very practical. But there's a difficult hump to get over. Similar to what we talked about earlier, like I desire comfort. I want to be in my fart sack, nice and warm, and there needs to be some sort of push that pushes you over that hill and gets you going. And I think that finding out what that is and defining that and remembering it is helpful. The diet I was doing before I joined F3 really focused in on that, like find your inspiration and remember it and do it. And I was kind of like, okay, whatever, I'll figure that out. But when I decided that I want to be able to run around with my kids for a good 30, 45 minutes and still be having fun, then start making progress toward that goal.
Yeah.
As a result of showing up to workouts, that's where the inspiration comes to get over that hump and keep going.
Yeah.
For me, that's what it is. I think that's probably figuring out what that is for whoever you are. I think it's a big deal because the mental strength is what it takes in the morning of.
Oh yeah, very much so. Yeah, I think those practical ideas are excellent as far as putting out your clothes the night before. I've never gotten up and gone to a beat down if I've not put my clothes out the night before. I never have, so I wouldn't do it. The practical ideas of just simply being committed and disciplined about it, but then connecting the mental component of having a clear why and tying that or linking that up with that 5 a.m. alarm. You can join those two up and start to remember that there's a why behind this. There's going to be a whole lot of reasons why not to get up. So you got to have a pretty big reason to get up out of the fart sack.
Yep. And for me, there's no other time in the day. I'll go to work, come home from work, feed the kids, put them to bed, hang out with the wife a little bit, go to bed. There's not another opportunity. So if I miss it in the morning, I screwed it up for the day. So that's helpful too, I guess.
Yeah, 100%. This podcast is not yet sponsored by Alarmy. We're in talks with them right now. There's this app I use though called Alarmy, Alarmy. Check this out. It has multiple features. I use two of them though. You can set this alarm app so you have to take a photograph of something with your cell phone before it shuts off. And so I have mine set to my bathroom door. So it goes off. I have to get up out of bed to turn it off. So that's one that gets me out of bed. Then you can set up a secondary where you have to type something in. And so I'll type in whatever that why is in that season of my life.
Yeah.
But what's that why? I have to type that thing into my phone before I turn that alarm off. And if I can type that in and still turn it off and go back to bed, that why wasn't big enough then.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. That's pretty cool features. I like them.
Yeah,
I've heard of like doing math problems in the morning, but man.
I'll bet there's even a math feature there as well.
Oh, yeah.
Alarmy, use code F3 the Union, and you'll get 10% off of your free Alarmy app.
Sounds good, man.
Yeah. All right, like man. Let me ask you kind of as we sort of wrap up here, a question that we've not asked anybody else, but I think we're going to start asking, which is some call outs, positive ones. We're not trying to start any beef on the Union podcast.
Yeah, call someone out. I'm calling you out, brother.
No beef yet. So, Tuddy, for you, who are some guys that early on or even right now, like who encourages you, who challenges you, who do you look at and you're like, man, I'm going to catch them one day? Who's picked you up and it meant something one day? Call some guys out that just have been there for you.
Oh man, red zone's my jam. So a little house arrest, call out house arrest. I mean that guy, um, he's a he's a force to be reckoned with. Um, he can pretty much do any workout, push you to do anything.
If you're a little league baseball umpire, don't mess with house arrest.
Right.
They'll come after you, I hear.
I believe that. So, man, there are so many. One that comes to mind is Vixen. He shows up a lot to the red zone early on, which is the one I was going to mostly early on, and he's just inspiring for coming out and doing some work. He has to modify some, but he does it. He does it, and he's out there, and he keeps doing it, and he's wise. I love hearing him talk about stuff. Just heard him praying this morning. I love just listening to him talk to God. Relationship that I probably wouldn't have built otherwise. Love that. There are so many. Ricky Bobby taught me a lot about running in just little conversations here and there. Love how he got the dock going up in Richwood. I actually really enjoy going up there, hanging out with those guys. There's a good core group of guys up there. It's fun. If you haven't made it up to the dock, it's cool. Hang out with Stripper. Where else can you go to work out in the morning with Stripper? And got to know Muddy Waters up there. Really enjoyed Muddy Waters. He's a take charge, make it happen sort of guy.
Oh yeah.
And hence the show getting started too. So that's inspiring. Love it. There's so many. I love chatting with Comprende. Was talking with him first time I met him. We were talking about marriage struggles and getting through that, and some of the practicalities that surround that. Deep Dish is inspiring. His love for the Word of God and the way he's pushing for that. I mean, he was him of the month last month. Well deserved. Love it. Goosebumps is push. I love chatting with Goosebumps. He's got like some level of passion in the capability of his heart to express passion is well beyond mine, and I love it. He just gets excited about stuff that doesn't really. I don't know. My wife says my emotional line is really kind of flatlined.
Yeah.
It doesn't really dip very often, but it also doesn't really go up very. Anyway, love the passion that comes out of Goosebumps. The inspiration of that 100 push-ups a day before it was even a King of the Gloom thing. And I love the way we had a good conversation with him about him being inspired by his father, and thinking about that legacy and how he's been inspired to try to really push legacy in his own life. So that was inspiring to me. Knievel is definitely Tigger. And
100%.
he's been right. He's like that at work too, just so you know. He and I started at Honda on the same day. We had the same day or same week, something like that, back in 2013. So I've known him for quite a while, and his natural energy and leadership has been something that I've been seeing for years. And you guys are also seeing it in F3. It's clear. So that's been pretty awesome. And he's effervescent, I think, is a good word for him. Although I don't know that many men would appreciate that. But yeah, he's that. But he's also servant-hearted. Like, he was first time I went out to the floor and ran. He was slow. He slowed down to run with Redbag and I. And talked the whole time, so we didn't have to, because we couldn't anyway, because we didn't have any. We were sucking wind. So yeah, Knievel, and oh man, how many more can I remember and pop out? But yeah, it's been amazing to me how many people I've gotten to know to the level of being impacted by them in a relatively short period of time. I mean, I started coming the last day of July this year, so it hasn't been all that long, and it is really surprising to me that I could build the type of relationships with this many guys this quickly.
Yeah.
To be able to say all these guys have impacted me in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm sure I'm missing a bunch, but you know, in some ways I didn't know I had this capacity. Like I always thought I can deal with a few close relationships, but not very many. But
Yeah.
it's somehow this F3 format has made the ability for us to impact each other, I think, really expanded, and it's beneficial. A lot of diverse experiences and personalities coming together in a way that make all of us better. So yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
getting long-winded.
Very, very much so. I think you're hitting on those three P's, right? So effective relationships, right? Being proximal, periodic, and purposeful. And you're nailing that. Those are going to be relationships that challenge you, that encourage you, and that grow you. Turtle Dove, have you any final thoughts as hymn of the month that you want to share with the packs of F3, the Union? It could be what they mean to you, what you hope to mean to them, words of encouragement, something that you live by. Speak from the heart.
Good question. I think that my encouragement, probably what I'm trying to figure out right now, and my encouragement, I think, to the rest of us, is set a pace for longevity. The reason I'm going to F3 is so that I can be capable. I don't care about being powerfully strong or incredibly fast, but I want to enjoy my boys. I want to be able to teach them how to be active. I want to be capable in my life. Yeah. And there's a lot more than just physical capability that comes out of this F3, like the mental toughness of doing hard things and learning how to be mentally tough is part of being capable. And I think that we have to be wise in how we pursue any area, physical, spiritual, our work, our careers, in such a way that we're looking for capability long term. Don't fizzle out. Don't ignore it so long that you can't ever get out of the ditch you're in. But don't go so hard that you can't keep that pace and you burn out and you hurt yourself in some way, mentally, emotionally, physically.
Oh yeah.
Set a pace for longevity.
Yeah. Love that. Love that. Said in terms of Browns quarterbacks, don't be Johnny Manziel, be Joe Flacco.
Be a Flacco.
Be a Flacco.
That's right. Be a Flacco. Right. The best ability is availability. And,
that's right.
If you're doing life in a way that doesn't allow you to be available for your family, available for those who need you because you're working out too hard, you're not working out right then.
Right.
It's not right then. It's not right. That's good, man. That's good. All right. Well, Turtle Dove, thanks for letting us grill you for a while.
Yeah.
Hopefully that wasn't the worst interview of your life.
Definitely not. Definitely not. Good times.
All right. Well, we're going to shift to our monthly F3, the Union draft.
The draft.
All right, Turtle Dove, if you've not yet participated in, watched, or unfamiliar with how a snake draft works, we will allow you as our guest to have our first pick. That means you will also likely end up with it coming back. Maybe we'll see. You'll go 1, Gen A 2, I'll go 3, and then I'll go 3, Gen A 2, you'll go 1, and then we'll wrap it back through one more time. We're all going to get 3 picks for our favorite Christmas movie.
All right, sounds good.
Movie draft. Now remember, once someone makes a pick, it's off the board. Cannot be selected. And as Gen A forgets every single month,
every time,
if you're on the tail end, you get 2 picks. So we go you, Gen A, me, you, Gen A, you again.
I think that's specifically why he put me second this month, so I couldn't screw it up.
All All right. So you've got our first pick of the draft, December after the Union Christmas movie draft. Turtle Dove, who do you want? What movie do you want? Pick number one.
Clearly, It's a Wonderful Life.
Ooh, It's a Wonderful Life.
Mhm.
Going with classic there, Grandpa.
Hated it as a kid, love it as an adult.
What
I
what
learned.
about it?
Oh man, I think that the emotional, should I say the emotional vulnerability of a man comes out in that movie. A good man, a strong man who struggles. And I think I probably connect with that more than I ever used to. I learned this. I don't know if this is completely true. It's maybe a little bit of hearsay, but Jimmy Stewart is a veteran, and it's what I read this week was that he wasn't really acting very much in those scenes where he's thinking about taking his own life.
Huh.
Like he was really
Wow.
dealing with something there.
Interesting.
And I thought, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised because it happens to men. But anyway, it's redeeming. The people come around him. There's a community that recognizes the benefit of a man who's honest and strong and also broken. So anyway,
All right.
appreciate that one.
It's a Wonderful Life.
Mhm.
Round one, pick one off the board. All right, Big J.
I have a very different, obviously, pick, but I will say, obviously, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Rudolph. The claymation one?
So, and I don't know if this is just my family, but all of the claymation old school animated classics, like those are the institutional Christmas films in our family.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Okay. And we're talking like this is the one from like the 60s, right?
Yeah, the old one. The old one.
With
The old stop motion stuff.
the abominable snowman.
The Bomb Bomb. Yeah. Bumbles.
Yes.
Bumbles. Bumbles always bounce.
Bumbles.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Bumbles. I mean, I remember. Listen, remember we're here in the trust tree. Okay, this is a trust tree. Okay, guys.
I will rip you apart.
I remember being a little prepubescent boy. There was some stuff happening with these reindeer.
They were playing some reindeer games, bro.
Somehow there were clearly male and female reindeers, and my
Well,
mind
you
could
know,
tell what was going on.
Clarice, man.
You're not wrong.
They had to give Rudolph a love interest. I don't know why, but they had to do it.
Right? Like we were all kind of like, I mean, Rudy, I see it, man. I see what you're seeing. Okay? I see it. I don't know what we were seeing, but we
She
saw it.
kinda-
Oh man.
It's the big anime eyes, you know.
It is. Yeah.
I thought I was going to show this to my kids. I'm not so sure.
It's to be fair, when a kid hits puberty, it's all fair game. It's just out the window, man.
All right. We've got It's a Wonderful Life taken off the board. We've got Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer off the board. I'm feeling firm, feeling strong right here. Home Alone. Home Alone.
It's good.
Going Home Alone, third pick, first round. That one is easy. Home Alone. Up next, I'm gonna stay current. I'm not really into the older movies. I don't really like the black and white stuff. So I'm gonna back up Home Alone, followed by Elf.
Elf is good.
Home Alone and Elf.
I was hoping Elf would hang on.
Round 1 and 2 picks. We're swinging it back now to Jay.
All right. So this is going to be in the similar vein. It's going to be Santa Claus is coming to town. It's the origin story of Santa Claus in the 60s claymation style. If you've never watched it, you got to watch it, man. It's free on YouTube.
I don't even know what it is.
Yeah,
What?
I have like a vague remembrance of maybe watching.
It's got like the Winter Warlock, and it's got the Burgermeister Meisterburger, who's like the World War I German guy who's in charge of the town, and he slips on a toy, so bans all toys, which I kind of respect the move. It's like,
Yes, I
but
remember
then Santa's,
that. Yes, I do.
then yeah, Chris Kringle comes and he's like, "Well, I'm gonna make toys, boy." There is a weird song in the middle though about how if you sit on his lap and give him a kiss, he'll give you a toy. Now
Huh.
I like to think it was all well-meaning, but that feels a little uncomfortable watching that, you know. But
And
I stay
It
with
didn't
it.
age well.
this, boys and girls, is why you don't do artificial Christmas trees.
Oh my god. Unrelated.
Yeah.
Unrelated entirely.
Giving him a little peck on the cheek to get the toy.
Oh my
Oh, right next to your fake Christmas tree with your fake Santa with a real kiss.
Over it.
All right.
Oh man, I think we're all staying in kind of different style genres in this one, so we might not run into each other too much on this draft. My next would be White Christmas. Oh
I
yeah,
don't even know what one that is. We are
yeah?
in different
Oh, man, I love
universes.
it.
My wife and
I
her
love White
sisters know
Christmas.
about it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, my wife loves it. I love it. It's great. A lot of singing and dancing. There's no like sitting on Santa Claus's lap and kissing him though. So, I got that going for me.
Hey, it's just the one song, man. Just one song. The rest is fine.
The White Christmas movie is actually based on a movie called Holiday Inn, which is very similar, except there's a lot of racial problems with that movie. Like, a lot of acting in blackface and stuff like that. So they kind of remade one in White Christmas and solved a lot of those problems. So
That's good.
Interesting fact. Yeah.
All right. Well, and
So I got two.
Third pick now. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna call out one that I would guess most people have not seen, and it's called "It Happened on Fifth Avenue." It's old, black and white, like almost all the ones I enjoy, and it is about. So my wife hates it. My whole family thinks it's hilarious, but it's the let's see if I can do the plot real quick. There's a family that lives in New York City, rich family. They go south every winter, so the house sits empty. There's a man who doesn't have a house. He's basically a vagabond. He travels down south and lives in their house in the summer in the south, and then he travels up north and lives in their house in the city in the winter. But they don't have any idea he even exists. He just breaks into their houses and lives in them while they're not there. While he's living in this house on Fifth Avenue, this group of people ends up joining him in his house somehow, and they celebrate Christmas together. And I think it's hilarious. My wife thinks it's terrible because this guy's breaking into their house and she just can't handle it, but I think it's funny. Anyway, it's old. Watch it. It's okay if you don't like it. I still like it anyway.
You probably, we could have done a 50-round pick, and you'd have been safe to hold on to that.
Yep.
You would have just rolled right on through.
I'm sure.
All right. Jen A, what you got for us for your round 3 final pick?
All right. Well, if I was gonna stay in the same vein, it was gonna be old school Frosty. But I'm gonna venture into your territory because I gotta nab this one. It is The Grinch Who Stole Christmas, specifically the Jim Carrey version. I love Jim Carrey, and I saw it in theaters when it first came out, and I just didn't get it. And then like 5 to 10 years passed, and it's just so good and so funny. I think the dry humor is like right in there, you know. So big fan.
Oh yeah. Suddenly, like as an adult watching that, you're watching it and you're like, this Grinch, he's on to some things.
I get him. I get him.
Yeah.
Well, here's the line that's like, stare longingly into nothing or something. I can't put that off again.
Oh yeah.
Or drift slowly into madness.
That right there, that's written by by a man who has seen his children rip through thousands of dollars of gifts, only to say, "Is that all?" Right? Somebody who's witnessed that enough in their life
Yeah, you
went
gotta.
and wrote that thing. Dr. Seuss has experienced that moment.
Said I will rip everything off the walls and take it up a mountain and throw it off a cliff.
That was a solid round three pick. Solid round three pick. And you did drift into my category and into my territory. So I'm gonna veer a little bit, but I feel very good about my round three pick. Because I've already got Home Alone. I got Elf covered. I'm staying in the comedy with Jingle All the Way.
Good. It's good.
Jingle All the Way.
That's one of my favorites. Legit, like I have a hard time expressing how much that movie means to me.
Oh yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger in a Christmas film is just magic. It's magical.
Here's the thing though that I think I didn't understand until I watched it again as an adult with children. Guys, real talk. The real hero of that movie is Sinbad.
He really is. Sinbad's just trying to
Right.
get that toy first.
Arnold is a self-obsessed dick. He's late for his kid's Christmas play. He doesn't help his wife with anything around
You're
Christmas.
my number one customer.
He had one job, and he failed it. Didn't get the Mr. What was the toy?
Turbo Man.
Turbo Man doesn't get Turbo Man, and then there's Sinbad, every man. Sinbad's every man. He's willing to do
Joe
whatever
Six
it
Pack Sinbad.
takes to get his kid that toy, whatever it takes. Sinbad is the real hero of that movie.
I haven't seen this movie. I
Oh,
guess
you
I'm gonna
gotta.
have to watch
It's on Disney Plus. You gotta watch it.
All right. Yeah.
The scene where they're buying counterfeit Turbo Man toys and like, it's so funny, dude. And he grabs a fake sheriff shield. It's like,
Yeah.
I've been trying to crack this case for 5 years. It's like that was.
This is the worst bit of policing I've seen in my 20 years on the job.
Oh my god, it's just so hokey and cheesy and fun. It's so
Oh, yeah.
good.
Oh yeah. All right, so let's recap. So packs that watch can cast their vote. Turtle Dove, who's your team?
I got It's a Wonderful Life, White Christmas, and It Happened on Fifth Avenue. I'm not sure if that was a strong pick, but I like it.
All right, Big J.
Got Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, and The Grinch Who Stole Christmas via Jim Carrey.
All right. I have got Home Alone, Elf, Jingle All the Way. So to recap, we've got racist Grandpa Turtle Dove. We've got creepy Uncle Jenny kid sitting.
Hey, that was one of my movies. Just one.
And we've got Shrink with Home Alone, Elf, and Jingle All the Way. So do with that what you will when you make your choice, Men of the Union.
None of those movies have proven that they have the longevity of It's a Wonderful Life.
I mean, that is a fact. It's objectively true.
Purely because you picked a remarkably old movie.
Yeah, no one's picking the old movies that didn't make it.
That's true. I'm a nerd.
It's called the survivorship bias, I believe.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let us know. Hit us up in those comments in the gloom. Let us know who won.
Hit the comments, comment, subscribe, ring the bell.
Who won this one? Tuddy, we're gonna leave it up to you, man. We're gonna hit up some announcements. You can either hang out with us, or if you want to roll and get to bed, you can give us a peace out and hop out of here, man.
I'm gonna peace out.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Thanks for
all the best
hanging.
on- We'll see you.
Yeah, man. See ya.
Adios.
All right. Announcements.
So for real, if you've made it this far in this podcast, these announcements actually are relevant and we're gonna hit them up here. I'll go through them. Jenna, feel free to add commentary.
Yeah.
Number one, cans, cans, cans. Bring yo cans. We are going to be meeting up Saturday, the 23rd, 9 o'clock, I believe, at the plant
Hmm.
to take them cans to the local food pantry.
Yeah. There should be individuals assigned at each individual AO who can still collect those. I think VP is mostly that person for most of the AOs. So if all
Yeah.
else fails, just give them to VP.
There you go. And I mean, this is a legitimately tangible way to help your community. We're all trying to figure out, what's it look like to help people. For many people in our community, that looks like giving them food they can eat. So bringing cans is a tangible way to help those around us. Also going on this month and the next month, CSOP, January. Ricky Bobby is planning a polar plunge CSOP. Keep your eyes open for that. It'll be a good time. There are going to be some changes to Q Source and our second and third F meetups, the break room and the cafeteria, beginning in January. My understanding is that the cafeteria will continue to run the Q source. It'll run through all 52 weeks once again. And then the break room will be used as a place for general discussion determined by the Q. So for those of you that were part of break room beta, break room 1.0, back when we met over in the HER building, uh, that's how we ran that for a while. So it'll be similar to that, where each week, whoever signed up to Q, they will determine a topic, be that a chapter from a book they want to share, be that a podcast, be that a Bible verse, be that a meaningful movie, it could be a song. I mean, just something that speaks to you that you think would be able to encourage, guide, and help sharpen other men. Um, Next up, January. No one has yet signed up for something happening on the second Friday. Jenna, what's that?
That'd be our second F event. Second F Fridays, the second Friday of every month.
Got it.
Had an awesome time with Deep Dish this month. So I think there's a lot of cool ideas floating around between the different packs. Um, I would say don't feel like you need to wait for the new month calendar to go up. If you have something you want to jump on, just get with me. Who knows? The next month's calendar might be up by the time this goes out. I don't know. But let me know if you want to do something. We'll make sure it happens. And that's that, man.
Yeah. And remember, that can be open to men only, can be for couples, can be for families. Up to the queue. If you sign up to plan that one, whatever you want to throw together, could be meeting up at Leon's at 8 p.m. Could be going out somewhere fancy with your wives. Whatever you want to invite people to. Second F Friday is for that.
Yeah, don't overthink it.
Yeah. Man, one thing I'm real excited about, Jenna, is our February Valentine's dinner.
Oh yeah, awesome time. Awesome time
Oh,
last year.
always good times. It's going to only be better this year. I think last year we had something like 23 couples that showed up, and we're expecting to eclipse that this year. So we'll get that date out soon, but we're announcing it early because we want you to be aware of it and let you know we're going to be adding an award show this year. We are yet to identify the particular awards, but we'll be announcing those soon, and we'll see. So you got to show up, see who wins what.
Should be similar style as the Dundies for anyone who has watched The Office. So, um, seems it will be highly individualized and slightly embarrassing. So I know that's always fun for me. If you don't think it sounds fun for you, get thicker skin and show up. It'll be a good time. I promise you.
I like it. I like it. Uh, we are also this is an open invitation. We've been rethinking the role of the third FQ, who has been Ricky Bobby for a time, and he's done a great job at that, at directing our region and moving us towards intentionality in the area of faith. And we're making a shift. Ricky Bobby has been willing to be honest and open about just demands on his time and the fact that he is expecting another baby and is also helping the men out in Richwood accelerate rapidly. And he wants to be able to put time, energy, effort into that. And so he is shifting out of that third FQ role. And our man, Alice, is shifting into that role. And one of the ideas that we've been thinking through and are excited to implement is essentially a group of guys who feel called to prayer. I know that it can get, I don't know what the word is, man, maybe weird sometimes talking about such a clear Christian faith within F3 because we're not a Christian organization. But the truth is, we are a group of men who are like 97.5% Christian. So, ipso facto, we become a Christian group. Now, F3 still defines faith as belief in something larger than yourself. And so you don't have to be a Christian to be part of F3. This is not a way that we get you to pray more, to go to somebody's church or read your Bible more. We would hope that if those are beliefs that you have, that you are working toward growing in those areas, that isn't our job to make you do those things. But one thing we've realized is after every single beatdown, we ask people if they've got prayer requests. We ask people if they have areas that we can join with them in prayer. And so certainly there's got to be some other men also here who feel called to just intercede in prayer for those guys in the area. And so if that is you, if you're somebody who finds real meaning in prayer, who even feels they have a gifting of prayer, get with Alice, get with VP, get with me, Jenna, Little John, anybody on the SLT, and we'll connect you all with the goal of being to form up a group of guys who will commit to reading through Backblast and then praying for those particular requests shared. That was a lot of words.
If you're like me, that means being a little better about note taking during Circle of Trust. Half the time afterwards, I'm scrambling to figure out who the 6 was and then what they said. So we'll bridge that gap. We'll get the phone out and take some notes as we go along.
We sure will. We sure will. And the last announcement, we've had a string of FNGs, and that has been awesome. All of the site Qs are well aware of one of their roles being to reach out to FNGs, to be sure to invite them back, to be that warm handoff, that warm touch for them. That doesn't just have to be the site Qs though. So if you're at a workout with an FNG, somebody you don't know, hit them up, ask them what's up, get to know them, reach out, make a person-to-person connection. We all need that. We all grow from that. So we are stronger together. We really do believe that here in F3 the Union. So if you see somebody you don't know, get to know them.
Absolutely. I have a couple additional items. So we have a Mad River event floating around out there that I'm working through with the Columbus. It'll be a joint venture at Mad River, of course. It seems like there's some guys who want to tube, there's some guys who want to ski or snowboard, and some guys who just want to hang out at the lodge. I'm approaching this as that's all good.
Yeah.
Let's all just go to Mad River, have a good time, do whatever we do. I'm sure at some point we'll all convene in the lodge and kind of hang out from there. If the timing comes out right, it may be during some playoff football and catch the end of the game or watch the game. That's always fun. So I'll have more details on that. Right now, we're trying to get generalized head count. So if it sounds like something you would be interested in, just soft commit in the second F channel for me, and I'll let you know as we continue having conversations with the fine folks in the Columbus region. And then Little John did post a new self-initiative challenge, the Discipline Equals Freedom challenge. I'm not sure if this is a 1-1 thing, but
Seemed like it was. Yeah.
seems like a new initiative comparable to 75 Hard, but perhaps on a more personalized and sustainable level. That right now is in the first F channel, so check that out. It pretty much just boils down to a couple items. If this would load, it's not going to load. Okay, here we go. So waking up early, hey, you're already doing that if you're coming to a beatdown. Getting after it, see above. Prioritize critical tasks for the day. Journaling, in my opinion, is super important. It's really beneficial. No challenge would be complete without drinking a gallon of water, and then eating a healthy diet, avoiding sugar, and then some self-improvement reading, what have you, each day. So the worksheet is in that first F channel. Check it out, and let's get after it going on 1-1. Or right now. You can start today. What is today but yesterday's tomorrow?
I like that. One thing we did not get to, only for the sake of Uniball, is the Kings of the Gloom Slack implosion. And so neither of us are going to go to bat for Uniball. So save your complaints for him. However, I will let you know, Uniball and I made the scoring sheets together.
You're really putting yourself out there now.
And it was not until the questions began flying where I was like, maybe it wasn't so clear after all. So, men, it was a lesson in leadership. And you all should know we learned that lesson well, and we'll do better next time.
There's always January, right?
Sure is.
There's even February.
New year, new you.
So when, I'm assuming there's going to be another KOG blast towards the end of December for us to commit to?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. So we'll look for that, commit to that, and run it back, baby. Team 3 will live again.
Team 1 has struggled. Luckily, we get new teams. So there's always January.
Fresh shot.
Hey, so I think we're going to kick it to VP now to call us out of here. But before that, though, remember, be a Flacco.
Cool. Well, that is another wrap on a State of the Union podcast. And remember that F3 of the Union was the first one to come up with State of the Union. You might see something on the 19th from F3 Nation that they're playing off of us. But, as Shrink said, flattery is, or what was it? No.
Imitation
is the sincerest form.
Yes. So the Nation taking after us here in Little Marysville, Ohio. But episode 3, a wrap. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Hope you all enjoyed. Have a Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Be safe. But remember to always be accelerating.
Peace.
Dose.
All right. Thanks, guys. Enjoy.
Can't wait to hear.